alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Hello and welcome to Alive After Reading. I'm your host, Tim Niederreiter, and with me today is returning to guest to the podcast, Jackiem Joyner. Welcome back.
Hey, Tim. Thanks for inviting me back on the show. How's everything been?
Oh, it's been actually increasingly good for me. I mean, ever since the pandemic kind of went into remission or whatever we're calling it these days for in my area, I've been really having a lot of fun in life. But what have you been up to? And remind people about this sort of stuff you write and other stuff you do.
Well, yeah, I mean, my name is Jackiem Joyner. I am the author of a best-selling novel, Zaria, and also Minor Assassin, and my series, Time Lab. So I am definitely into the whole fiction world. But I'm also a musician, a performing artist, which is actually my first profession is touring as a saxophone player, and I have albums out. So, and I've been on the Billboard charts. I've had a couple of #1 singles on the radio. So, I kind of went into my imagination from music and translated that into writing stories.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know there's a lot of great creators out there, great authors out there who have also done other creative stuff. Obviously, I mean, like and now I'm thinking about like Andrew Main, who I really got to get on the show eventually. But he's a stage magician as well.
Oh, wow.
As an author, pretty crazy. But yeah, musician and author is that's a fun combo if you ask me. That'd be awesome. I it's got to be a good. I mean, sounds like a fun time. That's all I'm trying to say.
It is fun. I mean, people say, well, I say to myself, my imagination is sometimes all over the place, and doing music helped me to center that into, creating albums, and then I translated that into writing stories. And honestly, writing stories like Zaria, it felt like writing, doing an album, because it's a similar creative process with writing stories. And the only difference is, instead of putting notes and musicians together, I'm putting plots and characters and trying to make sense of all the gibberish that I'm writing down real quickly. So now I found a new passion in writing now, and that's something that came later in life. It's a surprise, really. Now I'm just having fun, reading stories like from David Baldacci and Mary Lou and James Patterson. So, I mean, it's fun for me. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the whole writing process. I've learned so much in the past. I think it's about 10 years since I've been writing now. So it's just a continuing journey for me, really.
Oh, absolutely. And that's it's badass that you've got this kind of science fiction edge to your writing too. I mean, obviously I love that. I'm a science fiction fantasy nerd on every level, I think. Yeah. And I just love that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, remind the listeners a little bit about what Zaria is about. Yeah. And is this other series new? I forget. My own head. I do too many of these shows. My mind's practically gone.
Zaria was my first novel, and that is a science fiction teenage girl saves the world on another planet. It's like I would mix it between a little bit of Star Wars, a little bit of Avatar, mixed with the Divergent series. And she's kind of badass, but she's a female. They don't trust her. They don't believe that she's as smart as and as capable as she shows them that she is. So really, it's like a world military that's after her, because she's trying to uncover a plot from quote unquote evil person.
Yeah.
wants to basically control the planet with this DNA that he wants to force everyone to have, so and install it in the atmospheres, and she's trying to stop it. Her father actually was the first person that discovered it, and her father got arrested and thrown in jail when she was a baby, and then and during the course of looking for her father, she picked up the same talents her father was, which was coding and lots of computer tech stuff, and she went on her dad's computer and found some stuff that she finally understood at the age of 16, and she's like, wow, this is what he was researching. This is what they're trying to do to our planet. I got to stop this. But what am I going to do? I'm still in high school, right? So,
yeah. Okay. Big challenge there. Obviously, it's a lot on the plate.
yes. So, she creates an AI airboard that she communicates with her wrist nav device. And with the airboard, she's not supposed to fly on these things. And it's interesting because they let the boys fly on these air bikes and some of these boards, but not her. But she developed a board that was superior to even what the military saw on her planet, and the coding and everything that it could do. It was just amazing what she created in that airboard. And that's how she got from the little town that she's from, which is called Adamas, to New Sabrina, which is the big city, which is where her dad worked. And then, she flies all the way across the desert there on an airboard illegally.
No, that's adventure at its finest, right? You got this... Yeah. These characters acting against their society. I love that kind of thing. Yeah, good time.
Exactly. She gets into the city. She sees the city for the very first time. She had, they've always seen flying cars and all kinds of flying things. But when she gets to New Sabrina, she's seeing, just skyscrapers that are climbing high into the sky, and just traffic in the air, and it's noise everywhere. It's just her senses are overwhelmed when she actually gets into the city, and she has to kind of be quiet with her airboard because she's not supposed to be flying it. So
the whole illegal part comes back at her.
Exactly. And then she's a girl. She's got a long tail. She's got pointy ears, and it's just not like it's hard to miss her. She's an easy target. And
one question.
Immediately.
Yeah. So so the people here are predominantly human or human-like, and then she's got these other animal features.
Yeah, they're human-like, but they look different. I mean, some of them can look like reptiles and have red skin or blue skin, different eye colors. I would say that I created a lot of the characters to look like some animals in some aspect. They don't all look the same though. So
so they got kind of a variety of animal-human hybrid kind of species.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Cool. Yeah, I mean that sounds like a lot of fun, and obviously it's a lot. Again, right up my alley. But I am kind of curious about this other series though. You mentioned, right? What was that one again?
Well. So my second novel is Minor Assassin, which that's not a series, that's a novel.
Okay.
That's a different type of book. That's more of real world crime, mystery, suspense, and with martial arts in it. So it's kind of real world. It's still techie, and it still involves a young teenager. I don't know why I'm writing for young teenagers.
Hey, whatever. We go with what works, right? I mean, if that's what you do naturally, that's something I've noticed with myself anyway. I mean, if I write a scene and it just kind of naturally flows, it's usually the one I should be doing for that book, or at least for at that moment. And sometimes, and I mean, I don't cut a whole lot when I edit.
Yeah.
How's that for you?
I'm sorry, I missed your question.
Oh, I don't cut a lot of stuff when I edit. How do you go about editing and cleaning up your stuff once you got it written?
When I'm writing, I usually just put a lot of gibberish down first, and I don't really try to organize anything until I get back into, the second draft, where I'm starting to make sense of everything I threw paper, and I'm writing, and then obviously I'm doing it chronologically. I mean, really, just like I do my album. Honestly, with music, is it's like you put down a draft of a song, and then you're coming back and you're starting to layer it with the nice, pretty things, and making it kind of make sense. Because really, it's all about making all of this stuff that you're putting down on paper makes sense to someone who's reading it for the very first time. So but I continue to edit. I think I probably wrote Zarya 4 times before I sent it over to professional editor,
Mm-hmm.
and copy editor and line editor to really finish up and polish it up. So yeah.
So your initial draft is kind of explorative, right? You're discovering the stories you go.
I'm just letting my mind just do whatever, It's just like I'm
Nice.
just going with the flow. Whatever comes to my head, I'm just writing it. Because sometimes it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm ADD or what. I'm not sure, but sometimes some of the stuff is coming to my head so fast. So I'm literally just typing as fast as I can just to get it out before I forget it. And then I use a program called Scrivener when I write.
Mm-hmm.
That way I can kind of organize things a little bit with, this might be a good ending, and I'll put this, just organize the ending. Because sometimes you might even have an ending.
Yeah. You might, like, you're saying, like, you might write the ending in the middle somewhere, and you're like, what, this should go at the end.
Yeah. Like, if I think about the ending or how I think a cool ending will happen, I'll just go right to the end and just start writing that ending. See,
now that sounds really cool. I wish I was that free when it comes to approaching my stories,
Oh, I mean, like, so when you go about it, how what's your process?
Well, it's actually kind of similar to yours, but I feel like I'm stuck more chronologically, and I feel like I just kind of start at the beginning, and then I go until I hit a point where I'm like, well, now it's over, kind of thing, for a given book, or like that's a good end point. But I don't tend to do a lot of planning out in advance, but I do have a big premise usually to start with, right? Like I got a big world, a big fantasy setting, or a big sci-fi concept that I want to explore. And then I have some characters, and I do that sort of a little bit of the character stuff in advance because I'm pretty bad about characters. Being I have Asperger's syndrome, I guess is what they used to call it. Now it's ASD, but I have a hard time sometimes getting to know my characters on the page as fast as I need to. So I either have to do a ton of drafts at the first few chapters.
Wow.
Or I have to, get to know them a little in advance, and that usually works better.
It's interesting. Like for me, it's like I might have 1 or 2 or 3 characters right in the beginning of the story, but I kind of let the characters just come in, and then all of a sudden in chapter 3, they're super important. And I need to write something in the beginning. Maybe I need to bring this character in the beginning, and now it's making sense, So, and then more characters coming in. I'm kind of deciding who's going to be the main character, or not the main, who's going to be the main supporting characters, and things like that. So it's always interesting seeing how that works. But then there are other times where, I'll get back to it, and I'm like, okay, it's time to write today, and then next thing you know, it's like it's nothing. Like I don't have anything. It's like my mind isn't working. Like literally, I can't think of the next word.
That's happened to me a ton this last week. It's been brutal. Like, I'm supposed to be writing. I could write anything, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to write anything.
Literally just staring at the screen, like, just write a word, and you can't even formulate the word.
just do something. Sometimes I've gotten. I was pretty chill about it this week, but sometimes I've been. I'd get to that point where I'm like, just do something, anything. And usually that actually does help, at least for me, is if I just write a sentence, it will often snowball. I write a paragraph, boom, we're off to the races sometimes,
Yeah, that's what it is. Once you get that, first sentence out, and it might take forever. What I've done though is I'm with my phone, and this is interesting, like writing stories on your phone. But like sometimes, like when I'm not writing, that's when like the best ideas are coming, and it's like, okay, let me open up. I have a localized app, a Scrivener app from my phone, and I can just go right in and just really quickly type real quickly with my iPhone. okay, this is good stuff. Just the next thing you know, like you're on your iPhone writing for 30, 40 minutes, but you weren't even planning on it.
Oh wow, yeah, I've never done that. I've never done that much writing on my phone. I do have a pretty good notes app on my phone though. Evernote, pretty handy for writer stuff. But I don't do this. I mean, I also write in Scrivener on the desktop, but and the laptop. But the phone, I don't have a version for that because I don't have an iPhone. Actually, I don't know if they even have Scrivener for Android.
Maybe you need to get one, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
I don't work for Apple. So.
No, me neither. I mean, I honestly like my Android just fine. But I'm like, and also there's lots of other apps you can write in, and I can just email it. You know. Scrivener's. It's got to be nice to have them localized, have them, combined though.
Yeah,
they fit together nice,
Think it too. So my main thing is like I definitely have to have something to put my ideas down real quickly. I want to go through a bunch of steps because the next thing you know, it's gone. There's the same thing with writing music and songs. I use, like, if I get a melody that comes to me, I use the app on the iPhone that's the recorder, the memo recorder.
Oh yeah.
I'll just hum it and then save it, and then I can get back into it and when I get to the studio. So it's interesting how that works. I mean, it's been working for me.
Oh no, that's awesome. I mean, I love to hear that kind of thing. I was dictating books for a few years there. I would dictate whole novels into a voice recorder.
Wow.
And then have them transcribed. But I don't do that. I don't really do it because it's so sloppy. Like, it's such a mess that even compared to my normal typing, it's like it takes forever to clean it up.
Wow. I've never done that.
It might be. You might want to give it a shot at some point. I mean, it's pretty. It's very quick. So if you're having trouble with the time, and you can also just use a voice memo. I bet you could do the same thing with your phone. Just record a voice memo and then get it transcribed or write it down or type it up yourself later. But I will say it does. The main problem I had with dictation, and I've mentioned this a bunch on the podcast and other interviews, but is that it actually kind of messed with my voice a little bit because I don't write the way I talk. I don't know if that's going to be the same for you though. So it's worth thinking about.
Yeah. I've never recorded or talked a story before, so that would be completely new.
It was to me as well. It was very difficult at first.
I'll try it.
Yeah. And there's some software that will let you transcribe the entire thing, though it's not for Mac. So if you're on a Mac, it's trickier. Yeah, but for Windows but I guess there's Otter.io is a pretty good transcription, either app or service. I forget what it does, but that's free to try out. So definitely worth a shot. Huh?
I always wonder how accurate that stuff would be.
Yeah, it's worth trying it. I mean, because and a lot of it, a lot of it will learn how you talk. At least the program I use, Dragon Naturally Speaking, which is pretty much only on Windows, so minor problem there. But the one I used, you could teach it words, and it will learn better about your speech patterns the more you use it. So it's kind of it's kind of creepy, actually, how it got better at knowing what I was trying to say.
Anything that I can do to get stuff done faster, honestly. I mean, because I travel a lot, and honestly, when I first started Zarya, I was on tour, so. And I'm still touring, and it's weird. I'm still figuring out how to continue with the series while being on tour and kind of get into the mindset of fiction versus music, at the same time, and coming to that. And honestly, the past several years, it hasn't been the easiest thing in the world, but it has been exciting.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I mean, especially because when you don't have a routine, in the sense of you don't know where you're going to be at any given day.
Yes, that is what it is the routine. So, I find that most of my writing gets done during the winter time, with Christmas through January, because I'm not really touring during that time, and I'm able to kind of fall into my daily writing rhythm instead of just writing whenever. And actually I get a ton done when I'm on a rhythm. I definitely recommend anybody who's writing if they can stick with the same schedule every day, even if it's just say, I'm definitely going to write for 10 minutes today, just before breakfast or whatever, you'd be surprised how much you get done in a week. And if you say you're going to stay for 10 minutes, next thing you know, you're writing for 30, 40 an hour.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And an hour is what I mean. This is something a lot. I probably don't say this enough, but a lot of writers will tell you, and I'll agree that writing for an hour a day is significant for most people. I mean, you can get 1,000 words in an hour. Most people can, I think. Or at least once you get used to it, anyway.
Once you get used to it, and especially if
500, 1,000, you can get a good chunk. Yeah, you were saying that?
Yeah. I mean, because I also, I write blogs and stuff like that too on my website, so I'm always writing, a lot. But yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised how much you get done in an hour. How many words you can get done. Plus, if you're really enjoying the story or enjoying what you're writing, it just flies by like nothing.
Absolutely, and even I mean, like, I can do 2,000 words in an hour now, but I've been doing this for a long time. I can sometimes do over 2,000 even when I'm typing. The thing about dictation, and this might be attractive to some people, is that dictation can often be even faster than that. Even for people who aren't studied, or aren't practiced at telling stories, it's actually much faster to talk. So for a lot of people than to type, especially to compose a story, right?
Some people tell me I type a lot. I'm thinking maybe I might get tons of books done.
Yeah, because like I could do 6,000 or 7,000 words an hour when I was dictating. 5 to 7, really. I mean, sometimes it'd be a little under 6, but usually around 6,000. Yeah.
I guess my question would be is like how easy is to when you actually get the text to kind of like
I want to make it look like it should.
Yeah, I mean, like, does it make sense? And
well, it often does make sense. It's because it's what you put into it, but. On the other hand, it's kind of gobbledygook on a lot of levels, so you got to be patient and spend some time editing it and cleaning it up. I find it really taught me a lot, though. That's the thing I got to say is the real upshot of it. Is I learned so much that makes me faster at typing, better at editing, better at everything, basically, as far as writing goes.
Wow.
And partly it was because I was able to get books down really fast. And then I had to spend time fixing them. So I got really in touch with the things I liked and didn't like about them.
Wow. That is really interesting. That is definitely something I'm going to...
Yeah, definitely. I've heard Otter.io works really well. That's a website. I think that's just a browser-based thing. So basically anyone can use that. I think that might be the good place to start. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, obviously, but I've never actually used them. But I know people who have, and they stand by that. So if you're just tinkering with that kind of thing, definitely give it a shot.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. I got to try that.
Anyway, sorry, that got a little bit off course, but I'm interested though that because you did have a third book or series, right? That you mentioned, The Lab.
Yeah. Yes. Time Lab. Yes.
Time Lab. Yeah.
Brand new series. And Time Lab is it's an interesting story because they're working on it's two scientists from two different time periods are working together. So Kyle lives in San Francisco, current day. Sir Bernard is 2,500 years in the past.
Okay.
The big scientist of his day. And a lot of the stuff that he's doing, they're calling witchcraft. It's actually science, right? He teams up with scientists from Egypt and all kinds of stuff that's just primitive compared to Kyle, who is a student in San Francisco, and he's just a really bright physics major, and his mother also was a physics major, and his mother, who actually died, blew up the lab, or some accident happened. He's trying to finish her work and what she was working on, but he's kind of a drunk. He's really rich. He's kind of a jerk. And he just loves to drink all the time, but he's super, super smart. These two guys meet each other by accident because Sir Bernard's time machine actually works. He gets out just in time before Caesar's guards arrest him for witchcraft. and he finds himself in San Francisco, and his senses are overwhelmed. I mean, it's like all of these moving vehicles and beeping horns and lights and streets, and he's looking at bridges, and it's just like, what is this? And a plane goes over his head and jumps to the ground, because of the squeal of the engines. So, I mean, that's that's how he gets to San Francisco. He gets to San Francisco butt naked, and Kyle believes that he's seeing things because he had just left the bar, so he's super drunk and he doesn't know what's going on. He thinks he's seeing something.
So it's like but the time traveler comes from the past. It's kind of a reverse Terminator thing. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, they're going to be, because the series is still ongoing, so they're going to be working on a time machine together. After Kyle realized that Sir Bernard is a real person, is a real thing, and it's not something that's in his imagination from being drunk. Mm-hmm. And then Sir Bernard asks the right questions to Kyle, finds out that he's pretty bright, and then Kyle asks questions to him, and then it turns out that those theories are, actual. So they said, well, they're going to start, let's work. He needs to get back to where he's from. So, and Kyle needs to prove that he's not crazy. So to the science community. So they both have things that they really need to do. So they decide to work together and prove their theories.
Nice. So yeah, that sounds really interesting. Is there an adventure element to it too, or is this more of like?
Oh yeah. There's tons of adventure. I mean,
of course.
We're only in just recently. We're in the first episode, so I don't want to give away.
Yeah, sure. No need to spoil too much. I don't need a summary.
Yeah,
but it's already gotten me intrigued. That's for sure. It sounds cool.
Yeah, I mean, what Sir Bernard was, like I said, in his day, he was the scientist for Rome. He was like the smartest person, but there was someone that was trying to saying that he's doing witchcraft, and he convinced the king that Sir Bernard was involved in witchcraft. So he actually, so they want to arrest him, take all of his little primitive equipment and all this stuff that he.
Oh hell, yeah.
So, literally, he just has enough time to get it done. It's like, I think maybe 7 days that he has to get it done before a trial or something like that. So, yeah.
Okay, so we got a time bomb hanging out there. Yeah, problems coming back. Yeah.
Yes. So I don't want to reveal too much. Episode 2 will be coming out for just before Christmas, so I think it's an exciting story. This is it's more real world, but it's still, of course, science fiction. No one can really travel from 2,500 years ago to now.
Oh, and we're probably better off because of that. But I mean, especially and obviously going back the other way is even more of a problem if you think about it.
Yeah. I mean, like, are you going to change something? If you change something, you might not be born. And then if that happens, you didn't actually go back to change anything, which means that we're back at square one. So.
Oh, hell. Yeah. That's a big mess. But, but we're running low on time here, Jackiem. So, could you tell people where to find your books and, other stuff that you want to pimp out here?
Yeah, so definitely. So my name is Jackiem Joyner, and if you want to go to find all of my books and stories, just go to joynerbookclub.com, and you'll be able to get all my books and stories. So joynerbookclub.com. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's just my first and last name at Jackiem Joyner. That's my handle. My actual website for my music is jackiemjoyner.com. But for all the book stuff, go to joynerbookclub.com, and Joyner is spelled Joyner, bookclub.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show again. It's been a lot of fun.
Yes, thanks, Tim. Awesome.
And as for this podcast, you can find us at mentalcellarpublications.com. That's Cellar with a C. And you can find my books. Just go to timniederreiter.com/books. And once you can spell it, you'll remember it. I trust that you will. So thanks for listening, everybody. And have a good week. Take it easy.
That tears it.